awkward this week because I have a lamp on the floor. I usually move the lamp there, but I have a thing there. Hi! First thing I want to do this week is thank people, specifically Ray on the channel 7, I think that's how it's pronounced because that's his doll, and Gina is Artie, because you have mentioned my channel in your videos, and now I suddenly have a lot of new subscribers. So I want to thank you for mentioning me, and thank everyone for following me. I hope I'm not disappointing. And I didn't think I'd have much to talk about this week, because basically I think it was last Wednesday, after I'd made last week's video and was working on uploading and rendering and all that, you know, the time-consuming parts of videos where you don't actually do anything, I looked at my doll shelf and my brain said, nuh-uh, too crowded, get rid of some of this stuff. So I spent the next day pulling out dolls that didn't really do anything for me anymore and stripping all their clothes. Not all of them got their clothes taken off, but most of them stripping their clothes off, and then organizing them and photographing them and making a big post that I put on my blogger blog, my sewing blog, because it's fairly platform neutral, and having a doll sale, which I mailed a bunch off today. I'm not trying to make a big profit off of my dolls because I know they're so weird. Basically, a lot of them, the ones that aren't selling or being traded for, are the ones that are normal enough that they can go back to the thrift stores that they came from. I'm going to leave the post up for a while. I did mention it on a reply to last week's video, and I will put a link below if you're seeing this video and there's no link to a sale. That's because it's over and I have removed the post. But people who know me know that I have kind of a reputation for revolving dolls, basically because I like to customize dolls. I like to see what I can do with them and what would happen if I did this to this doll and put this together with that. And that's the fun of it to me, is the doing. Sometimes after I finish the doll, I will still want to, like Michelle Valentine gets a lot of clothing changes and photographs and things. And other dolls that I've customized get clothing changes and photographs every once in a while. But a lot of times I will customize a doll and have fun customizing it, take pictures initially, and then that's it. So I like to release those dolls out into the world because I'm not making much money. Basically, since I do trades as well as sales, I get my postage covered on the trades from the sales. And so that's what most of my doll time since last week has been doing, is this sales trade list. And then on the weekend I did also sew a baker's dozen witch hats to put on Etsy, which I'll put a link down there too. They're roughly Monster High Barbie sized, and I like sewing witch hats. I think they're a lot of fun. I know it's not something that, oh, I should put my arms down, shouldn't I? They're not something that a lot of people are into, but it's something that I can do and share. And so that led to rearranging my shelves a little bit more again, and deciding that some dolls that I've kind of neglected but still like would get a change of clothes. Like I said, that's this difference. The dolls I neglected, and then I looked at them and think, they're looking for new homes. The dolls I neglected and think, well, I should change your clothes and take pictures. They're still around. One of which is my When I Read I Dream fern head from Charlotte's Web from Mattel on the altered Winx body. If you're not familiar with the When I Read I Dream series, it was a series of Mattel. They all had this same head sculpt. And there was, this is Fern from Charlotte's Web, there was Jo from Little Women, there was Heidi, and there was Anna Green Gables. And they were all on the original Stacy body, you know, the very short body, which I like that they have kid faces, but that body always just seemed too small for me. And in the past, I've put these heads in all sorts of bodies. I've put them on, they went on Obitsus a lot, and on some other bodies that I've shortened in the past. And those all went away, and I didn't have any When I Read Your Dream heads. And then someone sent me a nice box of surprise stuff. It was Emmy Moon. She's great. And one of the dolls in it was When I Read, I Dream. Fern from Charlotte's Web on her original body, which I immediately took the head off, put another head on that body, donated it. I do that a lot. Take, you know, the head from an unarticulated body, and then the body. The heads I don't use and the bodies I don't use get put back together and donated, because those are still perfectly usable dolls. So I had this head around for a while, wanted a kid body for it. Some people suggested Pure Nemo, and that just didn't seem right to me, because these heads are very American style and the Pure Nemo bodies are very Asian style. And I know a lot of people mix those with no problem, but my brain can be weird like that. So I was looking around the dolls I had, and I had thrifted this Winx, Jack's Pacific Winx body with straight arms. And I realized that the neck on that body was small enough to fit the head with no modification. However, the body, it's, hold on. However, the Winx Club body itself is just a lot taller and skinnier than I wanted for this head. So I decided I would start hacking and puttying. I took a chunk out of the torso, and I took length out of the thighs. And like I said, this one originally had unarticulated arms. So because by the time the torso was reduced and the thighs were reduced, these hands pretty much reached her knees. So I cut the arms off, drilled into them. I made hinges. Well, I didn't make the hinges. I raided my old hands. I had a bunch of old Obitsu fist hands that I do not use in general. So I had all these Obitsu fist hands. As you can see, it's a little bit thick for this skinny little arm. And so I cut the arm off, I drilled into it, and then the other side I cut off, I rounded out the edges, and then I used the Dremel cut-off disc to cut down into the arms and make enough space to put the hinge in, the pin in, and then I drilled through the arm and stuck the plastic pin from the original hand back in. And basically that's how I added articulation to these elbows to make the arm shorter. I did that to the hands. Again, I know this body has articulated wrist because it has the articulated arms. This body did not. So that gave me another place where I could make the arms a little bit shorter. And I actually did the same thing with her feet. I cut original feet off, put a hinge in it so she can wear flat shoes now. Because I do like dolls who can wear flat shoes. I just don't have that many flat shoes for them to wear. So that's how I made what I think is a suitable preteen body for When I Read, I Dream. Fern from Charlotte's Web. It's not the most elegant, refined, or well done modification. And again, I said I like to do a lot of things where I'm just seeing if it can be done and proving it can be done, theory over form. But I'm still happy with the way this turned out. Finally, after years of buying these dolls randomly, and the first one of these I got was when they were actually in the store for $20 at the MSRP. Then I got a lot more of them when Value City had them for like $6 each. But they all got customized and moved on. Because like I said, that's what I do with my dolls. But now I finally have one on a suitable body, the kind of body I think she should always have had, and I'm happy with her. So there's one doll I redressed, and then another one was this Mycene Madison head on a Fashionista's Nikki artsy body. And she has a new face-up from Cheshire Tiffy, who does the kind of work with face-ups that my brain just has no idea where to even start on this. So it's a nice, soft, sweet face-up. She's wearing a Create-A Monster, Monster High Cam Create-A Monster wig that I actually have held in place with a straight pin because it's a little big for the Mycene head, but It's easy pink hair, which is always happy making for me. Do you recognize this shirt? I actually thrifted this shirt. I think it's Liv, because I think it fits Liv bodies a little better than Barbie, and it doesn't feel like Mattel. Anyway, and this skirt I made ages ago, actually for Fashion Royalty, so it only barely squeezes onto a Barbie body. I might shorten the skirt so that I can put, you know, there's a little more room here. I can do elastics so it'll fit better, but for now. And a bias swirl skirt like this is a pattern that I might share in the future if I remember. Let me, I don't have a pencil around here. I have notes here actually to remind me what I want to say this time, most of which was thanking people for following me and recommending me. Because I actually think I made this up as I went along. I have a skirt pattern from the 70s that's a bias swirl skirt pattern like this, and I just eyeballed the shapes of it and cut things out freehand because I do that a lot. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's disaster. When it works, it's cute and adorable like this, and it's a disaster. We don't speak about it. So anyway, I don't have a formal pattern for this in Barbie size. I do have it in Blythe size. For a while I was making dresses with a swirl like this. That's been years. Anyway, skirt, might share. Madison, painted by Tiffy, adorable. And then another doll who I had not done anything with for a while but really wanted to keep her was, she's a hybrid doll. This head was QTM, spelled C-U-T-T-I-E-M, Party Girl. I don't remember the name of the company, or even if we knew the name of the company. This was like a 2003-2004 Asian doll release. And she originally had this, what we call a Gumby body. It's rubbery with wire articulation in that's too weak. This is before the modern soft skin silicone bodies that you can get for female action figures that have the metal skeleton inside so they actually hold a pose. This is just kind of big, gummy, floppy, rubbery body with great sculpting. But of course we like to move, so I spray painted this Liv body really fast. It doesn't really match the white ever head plastic very well. And this is her stock face and pretty much her stock hair. And sometimes these heads will still turn up on eBay, and since this is such an odd, rare doll, I'm pretty sure they're not recast knockoff or pirated dolls. I think they're just the actual original stock that somebody found in a warehouse somewhere. So, let's see, this is an Integrity Toys Dynamite Girls top and a skirt I made, and good old Barbie flat gymnast foot shoes. I don't know why I've been dressing several dolls lately, including her, and then she has her little minion, in Valentine's Day stuff. I'm not usually a Valentine's Day person, but I think I'm going to have a lot of dolls in red and pink for a big Valentine's Day picture. So, here's another doll I've redressed. And I have photos of them on my Flickr. And then, because yesterday was a holiday and the kiddo did not have school, I did not record, oh not yesterday, 2 days ago. Yesterday I was packing things for the sales and trades. Monday was a holiday, and I did not record audio for my next doll inventory video yet. I'm sorry, because the kiddo was home, and I don't want to have to try to filter out YouTube from the next room, even with the door closed, if I'm doing the narration for that. So I hope once I've gotten all of this, and there's still a big pile of boxes and dolls, sale trade out of my system, then I can get back to what I've said I was going to do. And also, a lot of these dolls that are moving on to new homes were recorded in my inventory videos. I'm going to go ahead and leave the videos just as they are. Just call it a snapshot of my dolls as of the day I recorded them. And some of the dolls are a little weird and maybe worth sharing. So that's that. And I think I've been babbling for a while, and I thought that's all I'd have to talk about. But I decided, after talking in the post office with my favorite postal clerk about how we're not looking forward to the way things are going to change in a few days, I thought I'm going to go to the thrift store. This is the first time this year. It's the January 18th, the first time this year that I have gone to the thrift store. And I told myself, just keep it down. And I did not find any cloth that I thought, there was cute cloth there, but none of it said, you have to buy me. And, well, Emmy, who I mentioned earlier in this video, very generously, she also sent me this head, the doll that this head came off of, as well as this one. She says that I have magical thrifting powers. And what she means by that is that not only that I can go into a thrift store and find good stuff, I can go into the thrift store and find stuff I'm looking for. And one thing that I decided I wanted to find in the thrift store was a cookbook from the 60s or 70s about making candy. Because I have this idea that I would like to make candy for holiday gifts for people. You know, I'm of the school of thought that says, don't give people stuff. If they want it, they probably have it. Like, don't give them, you know, all those things that show up at Christmas time and no other time of the year, like little maze puzzles or desk golf sets or, you know, all those things. Give them candy. Because my grandmother actually started doing that in the 80s. I remember every year she would give people in a pressed glass candy bowl a bunch of homemade candy. And even as a kid, I thought that was really cool. So I decided someday when I'm back around a lot of family members, I would like to give them candy. I would like to have a old cookbook of candy. Shortly after I made the decision of wanting that cookbook for candy, I actually walked into a thrift store and there one was. But it was from the 80s, and I was a little snob and said, no, 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 I want older than that. I want kitschier than that. And I walked away, and then I thought, 80s are kitschy. Just because I remember the 80s doesn't mean they're not kitschy and old. So when I went back to that store, of course, it was gone. And I've been looking for another candy cookbook. I'm keeping my hands up again, aren't I? Looking for another candy cookbook for a while. And today in the thrift store, I found the same one that I walked away from before, which I think has an 84. Better Homes and Gardens candy. And this has some stuff in it that looks good, some looks truly appalling, which I think is the charm of these old Better Homes and Gardens cookbooks. And so that's my thrift magic kicking in and finding something I wanted. Someday I will make something from this, because you gotta practice before you can make a gift for people, right? And the lamp just fell over. Also in that store, this is more the general of, I'm always looking for nice boxes, but not specifically any specific box, just boxes. Because I think I've said before, if I seem organized, I have all these boxes with all my sewing supplies in them, and I have boxes down there with all my jewelry supplies and boxes with dolls and things. It's not because I'm inherently organized, it's because I like boxes, and if I'm going to buy this many boxes, I need to use them. So then I get organized just by virtue of using the boxes. So this lovely lacquered Japanese box, which on the bottom, well, it was obviously originally a music box. You can see that older tag on the bottom, and it does say Tokyo. So this is a genuine Japanese lacquered box. And I think I can fix up the inside. And it still has the spring that was used to turn the musical mechanism on. But it's fine for me that it doesn't have the music box, even though I am curious what it would have played. It might be written on there in Japanese. Anyway. So it was color of the week, so it was half off, so I got this box, this lovely lacquered box for $2. I do need to figure out how to get this price tag off of it without destroying the lacquer. I've done some preliminary searches online on how to clean lacquer. So there's another lovely organizing box I got. And yes, I did look at the toys, even though I don't need toys, but that's why we're here. And on the random toy table, I actually found this sparking Pikachu, which I know the child will really like. He's never had one of these sparking toys before. I don't think I can spark it enough that you can see it, because it's bright in here and because the desk is low. But anyway, sparking angry Pikachu. Enclosed so it shouldn't catch stuff on fire. I remember when the rollerblade Barbies first came out and they had that sparking flint and steel sparking mechanism in the rollerblades, because you know rollerblades are so high energy, and then people were afraid that they would set things on fire. And I had fun. Yes, I was an adult, but I still had fun sparking those things. So, Pikachu. And then I know I've said recently, I contradict myself a lot, don't I? But the thing is, when I say I am or I'm not going to do something and I don't, I have to learn not to beat myself up for going back on myself, because it's a hobby. I need to be flexible in my hobby. I said I would not buy any more articulated bodies just for the sake of buying them, but this is a Life in the Dream House body. And they are just subtly better quality than regular fashionistas. They're a little bit heavier, their joints have a little more grab to them. So I will probably update Marty's body with this, because I already have Cayenne, my modern circle Barbie head, on it's on the Life in the Dream House body. I do need to remember how. So with this, she has she's Tuesday Taylor, which means she has, supposed to originally have blonde hair on one half of her head and brown on the rest, and you can rotate it to choose her hair color. I obviously rerouted her all in pink, and I initially tried gluing her, well, I took the rotating mechanism out, so the inside of her head is hollow. Which also took the attachment for the scalp off. I tried gluing it on, and the glue just peeled off. So now it is physically held in place. The entire original Barbie neck knob, you know, with that weird loop at the top, knob, the knob, spikes and knob. There's a bread tag holding this physically on that. So if I take this head off, I have to remember not to cut that knob off, which is my default action for removing Barbie heads. And then I can put this head on this slightly better body. And her shoe fell off. And then I almost made it out, and there was a bin of dolls, which they don't usually have. They usually have them on the random toy table. And I was going through the bin, and I found the doll that I thought I would never find. She's not a big vintage. I have found really unbelievable vintage dolls in this store. But I found Claudette Sculpt Holiday Barbie. I never thought I would have the Claudette Sculpt, because I am a cheapskate who tends to buy thrift dolls. Her head is rock hard with glue, but she will probably eventually get a fantasy hair color reroute. She will definitely get swapped onto a different body. I do have a fashionista's body that is this color. She might be worth buying made to move for. I haven't decided yet. And I'm torn on the repaint, because she does have, even though there is gold eyeshadow, it's still for a Barbie fairly understated. But I would love to give her more of a vintage or Momoko style paint, just because I like to do that. With these modern realistic head sculpts, I like to give them the more stylized older paint styles. But just one of the many projects that I will hopefully get to. I have to stop staring at her, show her to you. Get to sometime this year and share with you. Thanks for watching.